Mr. Secretary Tom Melanowski for his appearance here today and his commitment to the hard work of diplomacy and human rights. I'd also like to thank Chairman George. We're grateful for your appearance today and work and the work that you do to protect religious freedom around the world. To our civil society panel, Mr. Hamid, Mr. Sultan, Ms. Whitson, and Mr. Colin Garrett, you and the organizations you represent are in the trenches every day, and day in, day out, fighting for human rights. We're lucky to have you here. We want to say thank you. And certainly not least, I'd like to thank the Egyptian Americans who have come from near and far, driving many miles to be here with us today. Certainly appreciate your focus and attention to this critical issue. Some might say that you have every reason to be focused on this, but the truth is, there's a lot of citizens who have every reason to be focused on a problem and who still are not. And so your civic engagement and your commitment to civil and human rights deserves recognition, and I thank you. Let me make it very clear that the United States and Egypt have every reason to strengthen and deepen our relationship. The maintaining a positive relationship with Egypt is important to U.S. national security interests, national economic interests, for many reasons. Among these, Egypt is the largest Arab country in the world by population and has a powerful cultural influence on the world. The Suez Canal is an integral part to international trade and commerce. And of course, we have an important military relationship with Egypt that is long-standing. Egypt is also geopolitically very important to the whole world, including the United States. And yet our relationship with Egypt should be marked with candor and accountability. Even though we have a long-standing relationship and are connected for a number of reasons, it's still critical that the relationship be characterized by openness about critical issues affecting Egyptians and Americans, and among those is human rights. The U.S.-Egyptian relationship is critical. As I said, Egypt is the second largest recipient of U.S. foreign aid after Israel. Each year, Congress sends about $1.3 billion in military aid to Egypt. So when members of Congress ask questions about the human rights picture in Egypt, it really is not the United States minding someone else's business. This is our business. We have every right to inquire into this issue because our constituents want us to, because U.S. taxpayer dollars are involved, and for a whole host of other reasons. It would be a dereliction of our duty as members of Congress if we ignored the growing evidence of human rights abuses in Egypt. I can assure you that I have come about asking for this hearing very reluctantly. It has been my very strong wish that the human rights picture in Egypt would correct all by itself. That has not happened. Each day, new evidence seems to come forward to give reason to believe that there are a number of violations, including indefinite detention, suppression of press freedom, trial without representation or minimal representation, and I think that we have a number of witnesses who will elaborate on these issues. It's also, I think, important to note that even though there has been an election in Egypt, and the current head of state has assumed control, that whenever any elected leader takes office with 97% of the vote or more, there is reason to suspect that the quality of democracy could be not as high as it should be. So for this reason and many others, it's important to focus on human rights in Egypt today. And let me also note that that there is a connection between the denial of human rights and terrorism. No one should be mistaken about the fact that one of the ideological leaders of today's movement that is characterized by violence against innocents to achieve political goals, also known as terrorism, is an individual who was executed by a prior Egyptian regime and wrote extensively from prison. President Obama recently said, human rights are denied and citizens have no opportunity to redress their grievances peacefully. It feeds terrorist propaganda that justifies violence. So to reduce terrorism and dry up recruitment, it is important that all governments observe the human rights of all so that people who would exploit the human rights grievances won't be able to do so. Finally, let me just say, Egypt is a signatory to International Covenant on Human Rights and Political Rights and has international obligations to uphold human rights of its citizens. As members of Congress, we have oversight obligations regarding how our taxpayer hard-earned dollars are spent. We cannot sit in good conscience idly while our basic military aid is used to violate human rights. And today, with this hearing, we're calling attention to these issues. It's my hope today that we can generate meaningful solutions for both the administration and Congress so that this important relationship between the United States and Egypt can endure on a solid footing where human rights are respected. And I yield back.
Chair,